This game absolutely loves to tease us with lore and story in the most convoluted and complex ways possible. From myths to anecdotes, it can all be rather confusing and a lot to process. But did you know there were clues and teasers in the trailers that you might not have realized? Let's start from one of the most recent trailers for Sylus, Tangible Shackles. We know from Sylus's anecdote that he was the most wanted criminal in Sylus' history, the only one to ever escape the space-time prison. In his trailer, it seems as though this prison is a starship that got caught in a deep space vortex. Now, is this anything to do with the deep space tunnel? We don't know. I think it's important to note that they mention a deep space vortex and not the deep space vortex, hinting that this phenomenon is not limited to what we've already seen on Earth. We know that Xavier was able to travel through time via the tunnel for the traceback missions, but does this starship indicate that time travel is more common than we think in this universe? We know in the main story that Sylus has more hints and knowledge into the future than he is currently letting on. Time is indeed no stranger to this immortal man. Towards the end of the trailer, we seem to see what looks like a map of a solar system. But did you notice something weird about this map? It's not only a map of space, it's also a map of time. It's literally a space-time map. The Cenozoic era is the current era of Earth that we are living in. Specifically, it is the last 66 million years. In the trailer, we can see that Sylus is specifically targeting the Holocene, which is the last 11,000 years of human history after the Ice Age. It's clear from this he's looking to travel to a very specific point in time to meet with the MC. I find it so interesting that he has the ability to target not only space but time itself, again leading me to believe this story is a lot more convoluted about time travel than we first believed it to be, and it's far more prevalent than we first thought. Let's take a step back to the starship itself. The supreme interstellar exile starship Tartarus. Tartarus in Greek mythology is the deepest part of the underworld, though some suggest it is just the underworld itself, where those who die are subjected to eternal punishments. Let's stick with this Greek theme for a moment. Sylus is a man that on the surface appears villainous, cold and rude, but he is for sure a man who dances with manipulation and an ambiguous sense of morality. But as we explore his interactions with the MC, we see him slowly start to become more open to her. Based on his moral judgment, she is worthy of protecting because he deems it so. Now, let me introduce a parallel to you. Hades was the god of the underworld. In many portrayals of media, Hades is seen as evil and cruel. Though when you are a god that guards the finality of death itself, who wouldn't fear seeing that man's face? This assumption that Hades is a villain comes from humans' innate fear of death itself, rather than him being inherently evil. Hades was seen as stern, cold, but rather he was more altruistic than people would believe him to be. He did a thankless job keeping balance of the world. It sounds a little bit like someone we know, right? But the rabbit hole goes much deeper. In the trailer, he walks by a flower and a wanted poster. Now this may seem totally insignificant, but again it symbolizes another Greek tale. Zeus's daughter Persephone was out flower picking amongst the Vale of Nyssa. Everything was as it seems. That was until Hades emerged from the depths below and through the cracks in the earth managed to grab Persephone and kidnap her to the underworld, where he would make her his bride. That flower she was picking was thought to be Narcissus, which can have white petals. Without Persephone, the world would begin to suffer a famine. Her mother, Demeter, desperately wanted her daughter back, and so Zeus ordered Hades to bring Persephone back to them. Though before Hades did this, he asked Persephone to eat some pomegranate seeds. What she didn't realize is that these pomegranate seeds meant she had to return to the underworld for 6 months out of the year to be with Hades. Now, what icon is Sylus associated with in the text messages? Pomegranates. At the end of the newest chapters, we see the MC is now periodically bound to Sylus, having to remain in the N109 zone, his underworld, until time has passed and she can be freed, as we see from the memory immobilized. All of this imagery seems metaphorical rather than literal. Sylus is not literally Hades, but he is a god of his own underworld. His name in the Tartarus prison was HDS 7213, which looks a lot like Hades to me. Now let's look at some of the lyrics to his trailer, and one stood out to me. The outlaw again celebrates this encounter in fate. The outlaw is of course Sylus. It seems as though he's familiar with some kind of repeated time, something we come to realize towards the end of the current story, where the MC is supposed to owe Sylus a life after killing him previously. It's a fate that they may meet again. It's time to break the seal they set in mind. Now, I don't want to go too deep into Sylus theories here, but I'm in the camp that Sylus is some kind of demon or devil, which would make sense having Mephisto by his side, as Mephistopheles was the messenger for Lucifer in the German Faust legend, among with the numerous times Sylus has been depicted with pointy horns and a tail. Devils are known for making deals and contracts, something Sylus is very familiar with. Perhaps here the seal is some kind of deal put in place, and they will have to pay the price is usually what happens when you break a deal with the devil. I can't wait for the new Sylus myth pair to be released, and we'll finally get more insight into this mysterious man. Let me know if you'd like to see some more deep dives into this topic. I'm going to be covering the lore for the game, but it feels too early to piece together canon events that truly make sense, so I'll wait until after the new paths are released and we have a little more concrete info. For now, I'll be going through and summarizing the anecdotes and myths for each of the boys and going through some of the fan theories about them. If you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below what you make of this theory. I hope you have a lovely time traveling, hunters. I appreciate y'all. See y'all next time. Bye.